Hello, hello, hello. It's me again. This is Real Talk with Amiri doing another one, y'all. Ooh, it's been a long day today. I hope everyone is doing well. Hope everybody had a good day. Hope everybody's starting to think about your actions, what you're doing, the role you play in your life. Keep thinking. Okay, I really decided on this topic last minute again. I also have a special guest. AJ is going to be talking with me today about human trafficking. Yes, human trafficking. That is like a big topic. It's trending. It's a lot of human trafficking going on out there. Um, I do believe most of the time it's women being, trafficked. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Um, this is a website I found, antislavery.org, just kind of a definition of human trafficking. It says is the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, or receipt of people through force, fraud, coercion, or deception with the aim of exploiting them for profit. So that's kind of the legal definition, I guess. And what trafficking really means is people groomed and forced into sexual exploitation, people tricked into accepting risky job offers, and trapped in forced labor in building sites, farms, or factories. It means being recruited to work in private homes only to be trapped, exploited, and abused behind closed doors with no way out. And I think that happens probably in every country, everywhere, all over the world, in some form or fashion. So, what do you think about
Honestly, I did not. It has a wider umbrella than I thought it did.
yeah,
The definition of human trafficking. I thought it only meant with like sexual acts and things like that. But I mean, if it goes that deep, that's
right,
a little bit different. But
yeah,
um, yeah, I mean, of course, there's been a lot of exploitation of women, children, things like that. So you know, of course, it's a issue that you wouldn't think would be as prevalent as it is today. But
it's especially in the United States, America, home of the proud, the brave, the free. Look,
that was all. That was a lie. that was a lie. Flat out to the American people.
right. It also says behind closed doors with no way out. It's a serious crime and a grotesque abuse of the people it affects, which is why tackling it is one of our four strategic priorities, including child slavery, climate change, and modern slavery. Modern slavery and responsible business. You want to read? You want to read these statistics? That's in big. You can see it. Look.
Human trafficking in numbers. 50% of trafficking victims were trafficked into sexual exploitation and 38% for forced labor. 67% of people trafficked for sexual exploitation are women. 67% of people investigated or arrested for trafficking in persons are men, and 33% women. Hmm, that women is a lot higher than I thought it would be, even. 46% of trafficking victims are women, and 34% are children, and 20% are men. Oh
Yeah, and
dear.
for the women, even though there are women who are playing parts in this traffic, trafficking people, there's probably a man on the top and in control of that. I would think,
I
and that's
suppose.
just my assumption.
It could be a Ghislaine Maxwell situation, honestly.
But I think probably for the most part, there's probably a man somewhere running it behind.
Men or women, it's all terrible.
Yes, yes, yes,
I
yes.
can see that obviously the statistic is more slanted towards the men being the perpetrators in this, which is unfortunate. But I mean that's how a lot of things are.
Yeah, and that's one thing I had
Situations like
mentioned
this.
earlier for you or to you is that Men are supposed to be the providers, the protectors.
Classically, yes.
Classically, yes. They're made stronger.
Of course.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
the creator has made men stronger. And um, I would, I just don't understand that. If you're here to protect women, then what happened? Why is there so much men out here abusing and using women?
The reality of it is that the social economic status, specifically in America, I'll speak to America in particular because that's really all I know. In America, I think that everybody's morals have shifted quite a bit. I mean, there's probably I would bet there's a huge moral shift every 50 years in any established society. So I bet that 50 years ago, it was probably happening more so on the low, but now you hear about it more on top of social media being able to actually air out the dirty laundry. And
On a large
because
scale.
back in the day we didn't have the internet to do this type of stuff,
Right.
speak about it. Technology. If you go into the Bible, it says there's nothing new under the sun. All this horrible stuff that goes on in society has been going on, just
Right.
in a different form. The only thing that has actually changed is the technology and how people go about
Right.
doing it. So,
And I'm actually glad
So it
for
makes it
some of the
easy,
technology because it does
the good
allow.
technology,
Yeah, the good technology.
the
it,
benevolent technology.
it does allow like law enforcement to, discover IP addresses and find people quickly and for crimes, not just
Yeah,
being
I keep forgetting myself the good part of
the
it.
good part.
Because, I mean, like even with things like the dark web, you know about the dark web, right?
Not, I mean, I've heard it.
The
What is?
dark web was made, actually, I think, by the CIA, I believe. Nobody quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that the CIA made the dark web, and how it was set up was they were able to go in these, like, back passage channels online and, like, share information with each other, the government and stuff like that, like all these three-letter organizations and things like that. But I think there was like some sort of court case that made it so that it was available to the public. You know, that's why people go on the dark web. Cause
So the dark web, it's really the regular internet, but like sites or
they say that the internet that you're on right now is I think it's the light or the white, the surface internet. Apparently, it's only like 10% of the internet. It's like an iceberg kind of. So the back end of it is the 90%, which is all the crazy websites and where you can buy stuff illegal and all this other stuff. Now that doesn't mean all of it's illegal stuff.
Right.
But since we're talking about human trafficking, obviously there's probably some heinous stuff going on.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about the dark
Oh,
web,
yeah,
but
I've
I really haven't like wanted to go find out what
don't
it really is.
don't go. I know a thing or two about it. I've never been on it, but I know some stuff about it.
Okay.
People that have been on it, they're like, yeah, if you want to go on there, make sure you have the right browser. Make sure you have a couple VPNs
The internet
running,
security,
make
right?
sure that you
VPNs.
have all this stuff ready to go. Maybe even a throwaway computer, because that stuff is real.
Really serious.
Like people will hack your stuff, and then that's your butt. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But yeah, it ranges from. I'm buying some medicine that could help me theoretically. That's
to
not even-
drugs, like
Yeah.
illegal, illicit
And then it
drugs.
goes all the way to
People probably look.
CP. For the people that know what CP is, we won't discuss that further.
Okay.
But it's a lot. But yeah,
Yeah,
the internet is an interesting place. It's
Right.
like a blessing and a curse.
all in one. Yeah, I understand. So here's another website, htcourts.org/Missouri, Human Trafficking in Missouri Facts, Statistics, Shelters, and Prevention Organizations. This is like another definition, I guess. Human trafficking is modern slavery where traffickers steal their victims' freedoms for profit. This is a rising issue in many states, including Missouri, which where we are right now. Anyone can be a human trafficker or a victim, regardless of age, race, nationality, social class, gender, or sexual orientation. And I think, I don't know, I think you really, like, even as a woman, you really need to be aware when you're out by yourself, your surroundings. You
Hmm.
don't need to be running away if you're a young girl, because,
Running away.
yeah, you're probably going to end up somewhere in this food chain. But you really need to be aware. And even like people are being groomed online, and they're talking to young girls,
Hmm.
and, oh, I like you, I want to see you, I want to meet you, then you go meet this person and never seen again.
It's for that online aspect. Honestly, it's like a large mathematical equation almost. Because for one, you have parents that aren't teaching their child that, hey, you're going to meet people online that might be friendly to you right now,
Right.
but in the future they might not. Matter of
Oh,
fact, they might not have your best interest at
yes.
heart.
And I think you need to treat everybody like that.
You know.
These the what I'm
Well,
learning
yeah,
lately,
yeah,
you need to treat them like that until you know better or learn better about them.
yeah. Have a little bit of precaution, just a little
I say a
bit.
lot. Look,
Well, I'm a man. You know,
right.
I'm not really.
Nobody's gonna kidnap you.
I hope not. I think they'd have a hard ass time.
Right. Definitely.
But no.
But this is something that's happening in Missouri. Types of human trafficking in Missouri. There are different types of trafficking in Missouri that are punishable by law.
Mm,
They include the following: slavery,
I hope.
a kind of exploitation in which individuals are viewed as private property. I think some people think that anyway, but not. Look,
I mean, if you go to certain parts of Missouri, they're still. I have a friend who lives out in what is it called? It's one of them like super rural parts of Missouri. Eldon, there it is. And yeah, she's Native American, but some of the people out there would call her, the N word with the hard R, and
really?
she's not even like black or anything like that. Nothing, but they call her a hard R. Like it's crazy. I think my mother, I think she drove past a bar or something like that that still had whites only on the
Really?
outside of it, like some years back. So it's Missouri was one. I think it was either the last or one of the last states to have slavery abolished. So, I mean,
Excuse me.
it, you see what it is.
The another type, commercial sex act, any sexual act in which a person receives or gives away anything of value, such as cash, drugs, lodging, food, or clothing.
Hmm.
Involuntary servitude, a system, plan, or pattern that leads a person to feel that they would suffer severe injury, abuse, or other harmful effects if they do not into or stay in a work obligation or condition. What is this? Peonage?
Peonage. Yeah.
Involuntary slavery based on actual or purported debt is known as
I've
peonage.
never heard of that
Me
one.
neither. Look,
Jeez,
debt bondage,
learning
similar
something
to
today.
peonage. Debt bondage is seemingly unpayable debt that enslaves the victim to exploitation of labor for the rest of time.
That sounds like some loan sharking
That
type
that,
bitch.
that but
Mm.
and these are still, this is supposed to be the 20th century. Look,
Yeah, yeah.
you want to read this one?
Victims of human trafficking. According to major reports, children and women are the target groups for traffickers. However, men can fall victim to human trafficking. Traffickers may already know their victims but occasionally meet them in person or online.
Just like we just said.
In most cases, traffickers know their victim or their patterns, for instance, through stalking, brainwashing, or enticement, especially in events involving minors. In most of these events, force is unnecessary as the child is not strong or mature enough to understand what is happening. Basically, they're taking advantage of them.
Right.
Most juvenile victims include children from low income families, those who do not fit in society, and those in the Missouri foster care juvenile system and juvenile prison system. According to reports, most runaways or foster children who become victims of sex trafficking in this region are just 12 to 14 years old. Jesus Christ. And have some awareness of or a history of abuse. Unfortunately, that makes sense. On the other hand, most of the victims are threatened through blackmail or actual threats. Young women and physically challenged adults are most likely to fall victim in physically challenged adults.
Yeah, they're taking advantage of people who have disabilities or
Jeez, I've never heard of that.
mentally incapacitated, because those people still get online
No comment.
or
Yeah.
out in
Mm-hmm.
the world, the public,
Of course.
meet someone, and
Mm.
there are some scandalous people. That's my next podcast, scandalous.
Filthy people.
Look,
Sinful people.
but they are looks like passing some bills,
That's not
trying
gonna do
to. I know, because you have to get caught to. I mean, what can you really do?
Not
This
much.
says House Bill 1246 to combat crime of human trafficking. Missouri adopted House Bill 1246 in 2018, which mandates the installation
That's
of
not gonna do nothing.
posters offering resources to aid victims of human trafficking in several public buildings all around the state. Look, a
First of
poster.
all, that's basically
Resources.
after it's already happened.
Right, you're already
You've already
a
been through
prisoner.
the situation. So like,
Why
how's
don't
that
they?
gonna help?
Why don't they offer rewards? Give rewards. I know who's trafficking
That
someone.
might be better. But
That's better.
that would require the government to give up money, and you know how
They
are
give
about
up
that
money
bread.
for what they want to give up.
Of course, and they're gonna get it back double anyways. That's
But-
the only reason they give it out usually.
Posters. Really, look.
Dude, I could put up some posters.
Right.
Nah,
Posters.
bro. Nah.
Oh my goodness. In return, the Missouri Department of Public Safety has developed a website so that organizations, corporations, governmental bodies, nonprofits, and anyone else may download a poster outlining federal and state support for victims of human trafficking.
I don't think any of those women on Epstein's Island had good internet access. I'm just saying. So they're not downloading Jack. I'm sorry. No.
Wow.
No.
Excuse me, y'all. Ooh, a poster. I don't even know what to say. Look.
A poster. Who's that gonna help?
Missouri.
What if she can't read? What if the person that got trafficked can't read?
What?
I'm sorry.
I
It's
mean,
not funny. I'm sorry.
resources. What are the resources? Call 911.
That's literally all
look.
you can really do. I mean, you can report it, but that's
If
not even-
you're in prison
yeah, you can't do anything usually.
or try to escape, but a poster is not gonna help you escape.
Nope.
Anyway, next bullet point. Justice for Victims of Trafficking Act. Missouri adopted the Justice for Victims of Trafficking Act of 2015, which states that those who buy sexual services from victims of human trafficking may be detained, tried, and found guilty of sex trafficking when the circumstances of a particular case warranted. Why would they not always warranted? But
Well, there's such thing as voluntary trafficking.
Well,
it's
and
not
there's some-
trafficking necessarily. It's prostitution.
right,
There's a difference between the two. Trafficking is usually against your will, involuntary. Prostitution is usually you doing it because
you're in
have
control
to.
of it, or
Yeah, you know, I mean, considering Nevada, it's legal there. You know, certain countries, it's just fully legal there. So
human
it
trafficking
depends.
or prostitution.
Prostitution.
Okay.
I'm not talking about human trafficking.
Okay.
Well, some countries it might be. I don't know.
They do have a Missouri Human Trafficking Task Force.
Okay.
You want to read that one?
The Missouri Attorney General's Office's Human Trafficking Task Force is organized and constructed with a focus on law enforcement to foster an atmosphere where law enforcement can recognize, address, and investigate incidents of human trafficking with the greatest impact. The Missouri Human Trafficking Task Force aims at the following: providing effective, reliable service to all of the state's residents in both urban and rural locations, providing an all-encompassing and thorough response by coordinating services, training, intelligence, sharing, and other activities, maximize state resources, allocation to victims and survivors of human trafficking. Last
What
part,
about
I
the
guess, is
prevention?
something, but,
I mean, how do you prevent it?
there is no way to prevent that. People are going to do what they're going to do, no matter what.
But it's always someone that knows. You know, these people are, and I don't know. I think people. There's a lot of screwed up people out in the world these days, and I really don't understand. But
Most people are not going to lift a finger unless it benefits
affects
them
them.
in some way, shape, or form.
Rewards.
You know, so that's why people are not going to be whistleblowers or speak up about stuff unless it
Rewards.
really benefits them.
Right.
Like with you know Edward Snowden.
No, I don't know who that is.
He's the dude that revealed all those government documents about like the three-letter organizations and stuff like that. How they were monitoring humans in the USA and stuff like that. Like they were listening in on your phone calls, on your computers.
I think I have
and all
heard
that
about
stuff.
that. I think I have.
He's been exiled, basically, and if he comes back, he's gonna immediately go to prison, which is messed up. He's out in I think Russia right now. You know, and so yeah, if you do try to do the good thing, sometimes it will
You
come
get
back to
screwed
bite
over.
you in the
Right.
butt. So that's also a reason why people don't do what they're supposed to do or not supposed to do, but what would be right. You know.
Rewards. Okay, get help. These are a couple of numbers and websites you can, if you need help. You can get help from the National Human Trafficking Hotline by calling 1-888-373-7888. You can text 233-733, online chat. I don't know if you can
I
get
don't even know what to say about that.
www.humantraffickinghotline.org/chat. And I'm assuming they would tell you to escape when you can, which you already should know that,
Okay,
or call 911. Where are you located? I don't know. But they do at this website. They do have some more links, resources where you can get help or get more information on human trafficking. Right. But again, I would say that we need to be more aware, more vigilant. If you see something, say something. I hear that about a lot of things. If you see something going wrong, you see somebody looking crazy, call. If you and these people who are running these rings have family. They got brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins. They have family. Somebody may or probably knows about some of these things. So tell on them. They're probably not helping you any damn way. Tell on them. But what's your last point about human trafficking? We almost at 30 minutes.
I just know that it's not a good thing.
Right. What do you think some things that could help prevent it? Like as far as young girls, what would be a message you as a male to tell? Like if you had a daughter or you got sisters.
If I had a daughter,
what would you? God. What could you tell her to try to protect herself? I don't want to be
hypocritical, but like I know some of the stuff that I've seen online that has robbed the innocence from me in my own eyes. But I would definitely limit their time spent on the internet. Obviously, they need to have a phone or some solid way to communicate with you in the event they have an issue. And just have that open conversation with your child. Be able to actually talk about what has happened, what is happening, and don't shy away from, hard topics.
Right.
Like, you got to actually learn to speak to them because they're going to grow up. And if they don't have someone to show them the way, they could fall ill to these traps.
Definitely.
Like, and it's just, like, I actually had a girl that I was messing with, in the past. And she had some older gentleman, I think he was like 40 or something at the time. And she was like 16. And they were just like on a game together. And he approached her, and it's just terrible, Like, thankfully she got out of it without, doing anything, But it's just like, it's so easy for young women or even young men to
you don't know, like,
trap.
when you're online, you really don't know who's on the other.
You really don't, yeah.
They can tell you anything. Oh, I'm 16, or put up a different picture. Catfishing. There you go. You don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
So be very aware. Those are good points. I think kids need more supervision,
Yeah.
and some kids are more um spacey. I don't know than other kids. You know, some kids are more conscious and aware. And if you got one of these kids that's kind of
Spaced a
lollygagging
bit.
and spacing, not hey talking to everybody, that's probably somebody that doesn't need to be out by themselves. They need to be supervised. So also know your child.
Like I said, have that open conversation with them.
Yes,
Learn who they are, who they're developing to be.
definitely, definitely.
Act like you care, I guess.
Yes.
Ultimately.
But yes, you guys, that has been our talk. We're gonna stay under 30 minutes, and I'd like to thank my special guest AJ. Anything you'd like to talk about or tell anybody about
Um, Nothing in
about
particular.
yourself?
Just yeah. Don't human traffic people, please. And thank you. Don't fall victim to that. Definitely don't perpetrate either. Thank you.
Correct.
That's it. Thank you for having me on, though.
All right, you guys. Again, I hope everybody is having a good day. Have a good tomorrow. What's today? Tuesday. Have a good Wednesday tomorrow, and a good rest of the week. And thank you for listening. Everybody have a good night. Peace.